First of all, thank you for inviting me to speak in this session on sports and youths in Kerala. So what I'm going to do, since we were given the impression that we will speak for 15 to 20 minutes, now it has been cut by half. So some of the things I will need to skip, and it's not an easy job to do, like speak in front of the Minister of Sport who knows much more than what at least I know, in front of an international sports person from Kerala, in front of someone who is heading a sports university, the vice chancellor of the university, and there are other illuminary in this field. So what I will do, I will skip some of the issues which I have mentioned, which has been already been mentioned by the minister, that there are some issues. Maybe most of you I can see are from Kerala, so you know the issue. But I will focus more on what we are intend to do, in a sense, speak about the way of it. What should be done? What are the lessons to be learned from other states? There is a strong culture of sports in Kerala, and the fields are athletics, football, volleyball, rowing, and water sports. And there have been, like great sports personalities earlier as well. And some of the names are there. So let me. And what is the sports policy for 2020? What is the Kerala sports policy 2023? Developing talent, improving infrastructure, supporting athletes through. So what are the problems experienced by athletes in Kerala? I'm just going to read out quickly. There is a high participation but low elite performance, which is to say, people participate, a lot of people participate at the ground level, but when it comes to translating it into high performance, as we have seen in Haryana. So I'm going to give you some examples. That Haryana focuses on, very specific, 2 gold medals, sending athletes to Olympics. So they're very focused. So in Kerala, there is a high participation but low elite performance. That's what I meant about lack of high performance training system. There are training centers, Minister has already talked about, but what you need, very specific sports for, different training center for very specific sport. That might result into high yielding results, in a sense. You get international level players from the state. Inadequate financial incentive, we keep talking about every sector. You talk about education, everybody will say, funds ki kami, there is a lack of funds. You talk about sports, there is a lack of funds. You talk about transport, there is a lack of fund. But that's a problem which every sector faces. This sector also faces that. Poor career security. You send, your child is doing very well in some sport, but you are very unsecure. After 10th or 12th, when he goes in the college, what happens if he doesn't excel in the sport? What happens to that? Even at the school level, your attendance is important. So career security, post-retirement support, those are also concerns when it comes to sport. This is not specific to Kerala. This is applicable in most of the states. So this is nothing new about Kerala. Infrastructure quality issue. This is kind of a reputation. We have talked about that. Problem experienced by athletes in Kerala. What are their issues? What are their concerns? Fragmented sports administration. Multiple bodies. So what happens at times, sometimes decision gets delayed because there are multiple bodies. So you get permission from body A, and the body A will say, we need the permission from body B. And I mentioned sports department, sport council, federations, etc. That's one problem. Weak talent identification mechanism. So that there has to be more specific talent identification mechanism, adequate academic pressure on young athletes. I've already mentioned that you are doing very well in sports at your school level, but then there is a lot of pressure. What do you do if you don't excel in sports after you don't get properly educated? The rural-urban regional imbalance, underutilization of natural resources. We all keep talking about water sports in Kerala. So that's a big natural resource Kerala has compared to many other states. If we talk about Haryana, Punjab, they don't have the natural resource like Kerala has. So there is a need to focus more on trying to develop sports which relates to water sports. That will give much higher results compared to if we are trying to spread very thin. When I'm mentioning spread very thin, trying to focus on large number of sports. The idea is don't focus on large number of sports, all kinds of sports. But if we want excellent talent coming from the state, the idea is to focus more on for which the state has a better capacity. Institutional challenge and demand met by athletes in Kerala. What are the demands of sport personalities in Kerala? Better maintained sport infrastructure and upgradation of modern facilities, need for higher performance and training centers, delayed recognition and reward payments. That's a problem. That you do something very good in sport, but your recognition gets delayed. If you look at Haryana, and I'm coming to that, very high cash rewards, very big cash rewards immediately. So demand for higher cash reward for medal winners, sports professionals seek similar structured incentive policy as that in Haryana, delayed government job appointments. I'm not saying that the jobs are not given to people who excel in sport, but it's get delayed. So your morale goes down. And if you compare it with other states, Haryana, Punjab, they are much quicker than what we see happening in Kerala. Weak coordination between different institutions, limited sports, science, nutrition and medical support, limited funding from state alone, funding we have already talked about, pending food allowances and hostel infrastructure. So some of these are the, so now look at some comparison. These are 2 or 3 more slides which I will focus a little more on. How much does Kerala government spend on sports comparing it with some other states? So Kerala, the budget is 220 crores and the center gave under the Central Khelo India infrastructure 50 crores. Look at Odisha, it's 1,315 crores and the center gave 34 crores. Haryana, 589 crores and the center gave them 66.59 crores. Jharkhand, an allocation of 18,076 crores, which includes education also. So it's not that big, but it includes education, art and culture. And why I have included? Because you need to get data from somewhere and I've got the data. This is the data which was available and these are the sources which are mentioned. But look at and Karnataka, 40,954 crores. This also includes sports, education, art and culture. But look at, if you compare it, the budget allocation in Kerala is less compared to the states which are doing very well in sports. Haryana, Jharkhand, these are the states which are doing very well in sports these days. So how Kerala differs from other states regarding their focus area on sports development? What is the difference? So in Kerala, the focus is on infrastructure and grassroots, which is important. If you don't focus on grassroots, if you don't plant, like in your field, the seeds, how you're going to get the fruits. So if you don't plant, nothing is going to come. So that's important. I'm not saying that's not important, but with moderate incentives. Haryana, they focus on elite medals. They tap the talent, and once they tap the talent, there could be criticism of that model also, that you're not looking at large number of people. But when they tap the talent, few people, they invest a huge amount of effort in those few people. And that is why you can see in Olympics, in Asia, you will find a very large number of people among Indians getting medals who are from Haryana. So they focus more on elite model, very high cash reward. What is the incentive? What do they give as incentive? Very high cash reward and job quota. Odisha High Performance Center. So they have centers which are specific, and this is related to hockey. A couple of more slides on that. High Performance Center. Centers which are specific to very specific sports. And they have developed the PPP model, which is private-public partnership. They have engaged private players in that. So they're getting they're getting funds from them in order to develop these high performance center. So this is slight difference. I'm not saying I'm not able to compare it with many other states, but these are some of the states which I have been able to compare with Kerala. Now, comparing Kerala with Haryana, Odisha, Jharkhand and Karnataka on 4 parameters. Infrastructure model, talent development system, performance outcome, and key gaps and strength. What are the key gaps and strength? And you can see that in Kerala, ward level playground, Minister has already mentioned that in every panchayat you have this playground, etc. In Haryana, we have 1,489 sports nurseries across villages dedicated to sports complex. Odisha, the PPP model I spoke about, private-public partnership, and this is world-class hockey stadium they have been able to build in Odisha. Small state, if you compare it with other parameters, there's hardly any comparison between Kerala and Odisha on and Jharkhand in terms of the HDI index, any other comparison, whether you are talking about per capita income, education, etc. But in sports, Odisha is doing very well. Jharkhand is also doing very well. Residential sports complex, public sports complex, and both the states are focusing on one sport, particularly on one sport, which is hockey. Karnataka, institutional academic, etc. Talent development, school-based participation. That's important. I'm not saying that's not important because you have to catch the talent very young. So you have to invest on schools. But Haryana and other states differ on. Haryana also look at job quota system. They try and give you an indication that job is the state is in a position to give you jobs. Sports specific excellence hub. Again, this is about Odisha and Jharkhand. Tribal and sport, they are focusing on one sport, hockey. So that's the difference with regard to Kerala is trying to focus more on various kinds of sport at the school level, and if you look at other states, they are focusing like Haryana, wrestling. That's very important. Jharkhand, Odisha, hockey. So they are specific. They are investing more on specific sports. Outcome, Haryana, major Olympic and gold medalists from Haryana. Odisha, they have been able to host World Cup hockey in Odisha recently. Jharkhand, they have been able to hold national level athletics in archery and hockey. That was hosted in Jharkhand. And the strength, the key gaps, strong medal focused ecosystem in Haryana, elite training strength in Odisha. That's generally about that Haryana, Punjab, Jharkhand, Odisha. The slight difference is that they focus on very specifics. They focus on few individuals if they catch the talent early, and they focus on specific sports. That's slight difference compared to what we find in Kerala. Best practices in other states, and then I'm going to stop in a couple of slides. Odisha, high performance. These are the states from where Kerala can learn. Odisha, what is the PPP model? Sport-centric, global partnership, science, strength, integrity, intervention, and outcome is International Hockey Hub, hosted World Cup. That's the outcome. This is the strategy in Odisha. Haryana, again, incentive-driven medal model, that if you get a medal for the country, you get a very large number of incentive, a very large cash prize. What are the intervention, how the government is focusing on that? High cash reward, job quota, and then what is the outcome? Major Olympic and Asian medal coming from Haryana. Jharkhand, grassroots and access model. What is the intervention? Residential academy. So they are developing academic sports academy with residential facility. So you spend years and years in that academy to get trained in one sport, which is largely hockey. Strong pipeline in archery and hockey. These are the two sports which Jharkhand is focusing on. Punjab, institutional sport university model. So you have institutional university which is focusing largely and only on sport. Dedicated sports university, and outcome is professional sports ecosystem and a career stability, because if you're doing everything in sports university, so you get some career stability. What Kerala can learn from other states? Sports specific excellence hub from Odisha, incentive alignment from Haryana. These are all kind of a repetition. Grassroots talent pipeline, Jharkhand. Kerala is also tapping grassroots, but you have to think of the pipeline. That once you have tapped it, you have to just follow it up from Haryana, athlete career security from Punjab, sports science integration from Karnataka, and this is the last slide. So generally, I would think that Kerala has a model sports, and when we are talking about youth and sport, it is inclusive participation model. It's an important model because this allows a very large number of people to be involved in sports. So we are not discriminating. We are not picking up only few people right at the beginning. So you allow a very large number of people. But what should be the way forward? From participation to performance. Move from participation to performance oriented. If you really perform well, you get high incentive. Infrastructure to incentive alignment, high incentive, and community sports to elite sports ecosystem. This is what I've been talking about. That look at the model in Haryana, look at the model in Jharkhand, and look at the model in Odisha. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sanjay Kumar. You have presented a very good comparison of sports activities and organization in Kerala and other states. Our next panelist is Dr. G. Kishore.
Honorable Chairman, Shri V. Abdurrahman, Minister for Sports and Youth Affairs, Moderator, Shri Santosh Kulagara, International Figure, all other distinguished and eminent co-panelists, Secretary Sports, learned audience, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to first of all congratulate the state government for having taken up sports as one amongst the components of its vision document for 2031, because sports is going to be a major driver in the world as well as our country in the developmental arena in the coming few years. This has got few relevance at present because that India is already poised to become the third largest economy. We are the fourth largest economy in the world as of now. And within a short while, maybe by 2030, we are going to overtake Japan and become the third largest economy. And from there, even it is predicted that we will be in the top economies of the world in a very short time. And sports has got a very, very close relevance, close sort of interrelation with the economies of the countries, because 1% of the global GDP in the global economy is contributed through sports. 1% of the global economy GDP is into $700 billion. That is the impact of sports into the global economy. And you see how much is India's contribution towards the economy as of now is 0.63 to 0.96. Is only 1% is the global economy, while in India, even while we have become the fourth largest economy, our contribution is only 0.63 to 96. And we can see that how we are down in the sports economy, how much we are down. And this, how much is this 0.63 to 0.96 in the global economy? It is about only $31 million. 31 million. The world economy, 1% is $700 billion, whereas in India, our contribution is $31 million. So you can see the drastic difference. There is a strong interrelation. And I would like to place on record the appreciation to the Honorable Minister and the Government Department of Sports, because the Kerala government has very rightly envisioned that the impact of sports into the economy of the country and the world. And that is how they have taken up a major initiative and major drives and They have taken up major various departments, not only the performance department, not only but various infrastructure development departments, which inter alia boost the economy of the state and the country. Further, there are two important major factors which we have to realize because we are focusing on 2031. Because 2030 we are supposed to become the Commonwealth Games. 2030 Commonwealth Games is allotted to our country. And 36 Olympics. It is we have less than only 9 to 10 years only for the Olympics. You see the development of the world, if you take any country, the development of the countries in the world, the major developmental countries, major economies in the world are interrelated to the hosting of international sports events, especially Olympics. You take Moscow, Los Angeles, Tokyo, Paris, any world cities in the world, the development of the cities are interrelated to hosting of major sports events, especially Olympics. And if Olympics is coming to India in 36, it will have a major contribution to development of the country. And with 2030, and Kerala has to definitely pitch in. And how best we can pitch in, that is what I have just a few slides, because I have got only few 8 to 9 minutes. I request Chairman to give me a few more minutes so that I can complete. I will do it at the earliest. So, economy, sports economy, and you can see the first of sports is multifaceted, encompassing sponsorship, tourism, and local development. The presentation explores how sport significantly promotes employment and global market dynamics. One of the major things about is unemployed. I think we must be aware that the more we contribute towards sports, this will significantly have not only economic growth but also employment and market dynamics. So I have listed down some of the components here, like the professional sports, the global sports goods. We have got a lot of sports goods industries, sports retailing, fitness, lot of fitness industry, mushrooming, sports tourism, amateur and recreation sports, and sports medicine and sports industry, and sports engineering, and so on. So it has got multifaceted. It has got a lot of segments. And how will we develop in each of these segments is something which we have to ponder upon. And I'm sure that I think this will pave the way. This will definitely pave the way to explore and get into the other segments also. Next, please. So the strengthening of Indian sports ecosystem will have to be diversified beyond cricket. We have already done it. The sports economy is surged due to industrialization and government focus on industrial growth, encompassing sports goods, sports tourism, apparel, and sector of global leader youth population. And if you are the largest youth population, you want